Hi guys, happy Monday to everybody. I hope that you guys had a fantastic weekend. I had a request in a recent video about my mommy makeover to do a top 10 things that I think somebody should know before they have a procedure like I had. So I had a mommy makeover surgery, and for me that meant that I had a breast reduction, not a breast augmentation, because I was fairly large chested, and I had a full tummy tuck with the muscle repair. So after having my daughter, my stomach muscles had separated to the point where no amount of crunches or sit-ups or planks or whatever other core muscle work that you can do was going to move those muscles back together. So the surgeon essentially sewed those muscles back together and then also removed the extra skin that I had from pregnancy. So as a result, I also had most of my stretch marks taken off as well. I do still have some left over, but the vast majority of them are gone at this point. So in today's video, I'm just going to share with you the top 10 things that I think are helpful to maybe think about or sort of know before you have this procedure done. And I'm not going to really go in any kind of order, and so I'm just going to kind of jump around a little bit, and I think there might actually be 11 things, because the one that I'm going to start out with is sort of the thing that I thought about the most, which was the pain. The pain is always the scariest thing. I watched so many YouTube videos, read so many blogs about not only tummy tucks, but breast reductions, since I was having both procedures done. And I was just so curious about what it was going to feel like. And I knew that I wasn't going to be getting away with not having any pain at all. That was never something that was that I was going to be delusional about. You know, I knew that I was going to be experiencing some pain, and the pain that people described sort of ranged from you know, just kind of a dull ache to a sharp stabbing pain to like an intense cramping kind of pain. And so I didn't know which one of those sounded more desirable. I just knew that I was really hoping to just experience like pain on the mild end of things. Now for me, my pain was pretty intense, I won't lie. I likened the pain that I experienced to the contractions that I had when I was in labor with my daughter. And contractions hurt. If you've had a baby, you kind of know that like cramping, like just gut-wrenching kind of pain. And that's what I felt. The drugs that I had, I was on oxycodone. I was also on Flexerol, which is a muscle relaxer, and those two didn't work all that well for me. So it just kind of took the edge off, but I still kind of felt that same kind of pain that I felt when I was in labor. But the great thing about labor is that you usually have like a minute or so to recover from each contraction. I didn't really have that with this, and so it was pretty painful. The thing is, though, my experience won't be the same as your experience could potentially be. You could be one of those people that just kind of has like a dull ache. You just never know. It just depends on how your body reacts to the surgery. So just know that you're gonna experience some pain. The level of pain, you're honestly not going to know until you have the procedure, and that's kind of the sucky thing. I wish I could tell you exactly what you're going to feel, but there just seems to be such a great variation in, you know, the types of pain that people sort of talk about with these procedures. Now, I had no pain whatsoever for my breast reduction, but I've heard other people say that the breast reduction actually hurt more for them than the tummy tuck. So, you know, it's just so different. You're just never going to know, but I think it's important to prepare yourself that you will experience some sort of pain, and you should just know that you have some good pain meds, and you know, and this kind of leads me into like my second thing is the drugs. Make sure you have drugs that work for you. If you have had procedures in the past where you've had medication that worked really well to numb your pain, you should tell your surgeon that, because it may be that you can use that for, you know, this procedure. May not necessarily, I don't know, there could be some interactions or whatever, but, you know, just kind of tell the doctor what has worked for you in the past. For me, I have so many allergies that like my pain medication choices were probably pretty limited for the doctor. I was on oxycodone, like I said, and the muscle relaxer Flexerol. But when I was in the hospital, they were also having to give me Tylenol along with the oxycodone because it just wasn't enough. So, make sure that you take your drugs on time. Do not let time lapse in between. When they say every 4 hours, that means that, like, for example, at noon, you take your drugs, and then again, right at 4 o'clock, you take your drugs, because you really don't want time to lapse. If you start to lapse, then that pain is going to come on, and it's going to come on really strong, and it is going to take a while for those drugs to kick in again. Don't do that to yourself. It's uncomfortable, it hurts, and there's no reason to do it. Take the drugs on time. Set your alarm on your phone or put somebody else in charge of it. I just put my husband in charge of giving me the drugs because I was too out of it to really think about taking the medication on a timely manner. Also, along with that drugs, make sure you take them with food, so either crackers or yogurt or whatever you can stomach at that point. Take the drugs with food. It really helps. And again, make sure that your doctor is giving you the right medications. And before you leave the hospital, you know, if you're experiencing like an insane amount of pain, they may need to give you a different prescription. I took all of my medications to the hospital with me, and that is what the nurses administered to me I stayed overnight. So overnight and the next morning. And, you know, they just added the Tylenol in. It took off a little bit more of the edge, and, you know, I just kind of left it at that. I really didn't want to mess with a bunch of different drugs because of my allergies. I did not want to be like covered in hives on top of being in horrible pain. So I just sort of suffered through and got by with what the Tylenol and the oxycodone did for me. Okay. 3, trust your doctor. So make sure that you're really comfortable with the surgeon that you choose. You know, make sure that you have looked at their previous work, that you have looked up reviews on them, either on RealSelf or Yelp or wherever you can find reviews on your doctor. You know, get recommendations from friends that have maybe had procedures from this particular doctor before. Just do your best to make sure that you really trust this person, because you're sort of putting your life in their hands, and you want to be confident that they are a competent physician. That's important, so trust your doctor. I think we're on number 4. Good communication. Make sure that you have good communication with your doctor. If you, and this kind of goes along with number 5, is realistic expectations. So good communication, just make sure that you feel like you're able to express to your doctor what it is that you want. But you also need to be able to listen to your doctor about what is realistic for what they can do for you. You know, you can't go in there and if you're like a size 12, tell the doctor that you want to be a size 0. Doesn't really work that way. There's only so much they can do safely with the procedures that they're performing on you. So for me, my biggest request from the doctor was, you know, the stomach, I just wanted my stomach to look flat and sort of normal again. I wasn't really as concerned about the tummy tuck, which sounds weird. My biggest thing was the breast reduction. I wanted to have smaller boobs, and I wanted to be on the smaller end of, I guess, what was appropriate for my size. The doctor really tried to push me towards maybe staying a little bit larger, maybe a little bit more proportionate, but I really wanted less than that. And so we kind of came to the conclusion together that on the day of surgery, if I still wanted to be a little bit smaller, that all I had to do was tell her that, and then at that point she would definitely take off a little bit more tissue. So that's what I did the morning of my surgery. Now, I'm still a little bit swollen now, and I am a little bit larger than I wanted to be still, but I'm going to go ahead and at this point chalk that up to still being swollen. It's going to be several months before all of the swelling goes away, and so you know, in the end, I'm still significantly smaller than I was in the beginning, but I didn't care about having boobs anymore. Like, she could have put me down to like a B cup and I would have been fine with that. Right now, I'm in the like C, D range, and I was hoping to be like small C. So we'll see what it is in the end, but I felt good that even though she sort of had something in mind, she at least listened to me and, you know, did her best to get me to the ultimate size that I wanted. So having the realistic expectations and being able to have that good communication is really, really important. If your doctor doesn't listen to you and just starts talking about what they're going to do to you without listening to your feedback or what it is that you want out of this, I would suggest finding somebody else, because this is your body and you're spending a lot of money for a very invasive surgery that, you know, is going to put you out of commission for a while, and it's just potentially going to change your life. So you really want to make sure that this person wants what is best for you and takes your wishes into consideration, obviously within reason. Like I said, you're not going to go from a size 12 to a size 0 in one surgery. That's crazy unhealthy to start with, but it's just, you know, have those realistic expectations. A big one, have help lined up. I don't know if this is number 6 or number 7. I don't care about numbers anymore. We're just going to kind of keep it going. Have help lined up. This is the biggest thing. If you have children, especially small children, try to get either a babysitter lined up or somebody that can come to the house and help with your children, because you are not going to be able to care for them for the first week. Even if you are really lucky and your surgery goes super well and you feel pretty good afterwards, there is so much you're not going to be able to do for your kids, and you need some help. So hopefully there is a significant other, a partner, or a really good friend, somebody that can help you out with the little ones. And then help for yourself. My mom ended up having to take Stella for like a week and a half because it got to be a little bit too much for my husband to care for me as well as Stella. I was in so much pain and discomfort afterwards that like it was almost a full-time job for him to just take care of me. He had to help me up to go to the bathroom. He had to give me my medicine on time. He had to constantly bring me food, make sure I was drinking water, readjust my pillows, move my legs so that I wouldn't get a blood clot, give me injections. It was kind of a lot. I mean, he was like full-time nurse, and also having 22-month-old Stella running around was a bit much for him. So make sure that you have enough help lined up for your particular situation. Your husband or partner might be a lot better at multitasking than Craig was, but you kind of know what your helpers can handle, and so just make sure that you have the help lined up. At the very least for a week after surgery, but longer if you can, especially with the kids. You can start to take care of yourself, I would say probably at day 5, 6. But caring for the little ones, that's kind of hard. So just make sure that you have help. In terms of supplies, so these are the things that I really ended up needing. One thing that I wish that I would have had, and the thing that I wish that I would have had, and people told me, is a recliner. Because when I first came home, I had to go lay down on my couch. My couch isn't particularly comfortable for sleeping on. It's comfy for sitting and watching movies, but it's not comfortable for sleeping on. I could not walk upstairs to my bedroom for the first 2 days after surgery, so I had to plant it on the couch. And that was very uncomfortable. Plus, I had Stella running around, and that made me very nervous because all she wanted to do was climb on me and love me and play with me. And I was not in a playful kind of mood. So a recliner would have been really, really helpful. It would have just been more comfortable, and it would have made getting up and down easier when I had to go to the bathroom. Pillows. Once I finally did get up to my bed, just lots and lots of pillows, because you have to sleep basically at like a 45-degree angle so that your stomach muscles don't freak out. You're not going to be able to lay flat for probably a couple weeks after surgery. So just make sure you have lots of pillows. It's also helpful to prop your feet up as well. So that was super, super important. Make sure that you have your nice comfortable spot where, you know, you can put your water down, you put your snacks down. So whether that's, you know, your nightstand or like a little table that you put next to your bed with all of your stuff, your medications and water and snacks and stuff like that. Have simple foods available to eat. So things like crackers, yogurt, chicken noodle soup, like just things that are very easy to eat when you're not feeling well. And you kind of know what those foods are for yourself, probably from being sick in the past. So just go with those types of foods that are very safe and easy to digest, and you know aren't going to be giving you any problems. Make sure you have lots of water available to you. That is super, super important. It's a pain in the butt to get up and go pee because you need help to do that. You don't need help like once you're on the toilet, but you need help getting there. It's really kind of hard. And another suggestion that I was going to throw in there, and I could have gotten one of these because Craig had one left over from his grandmother who passed away, is a walker. I never did get that from my mother-in-law. I probably should have. It would have made getting around by myself a little bit easier, but you know, Craig was able to help me to the bathroom just fine. But had I had a walker, I could have been a little bit more mobile by myself. A raised toilet seat. This was like the biggest thing. I did get one of these and it was hugely helpful. You don't understand how far down a toilet actually is until you have a tummy tuck and you have to figure out how to sit down on that thing without hurting yourself. The toilet seat that I got was probably about this tall, and it basically just sat on top of the toilet, and it was super helpful because I didn't have to go down quite as far, and it was easier for me to get up, and I could feel a little bit more independent that way. So a raised toilet seat, it's probably going to cost you about $20-25, but it's totally, totally worth it. So those were really kind of the only like main things, other than obviously the drugs, that I thought were like must-haves for me. I didn't go out and buy like a bunch of bandages and, you know, special stuff. You know, I know a lot of people get like antibacterial wash and just all of this stuff. Like, I didn't do all of that extra stuff. I was going to, and then time just ran out before surgery, and I never did that, and I just managed with what I had on hand, and it was fine. So, yeah, that part wasn't a big deal for me at all. But your doctor may give you a list of things to purchase that make things a little bit more helpful for you in your recovery at home. Rest. You need lots and lots of rest. I would really suggest if you can take up to 3 weeks off of work to do this, that's probably going to be the best. Longer if you're in a really physically active job. So if I would have done this surgery during the summer, gosh, there's no way. I'm a wedding planner, and on wedding days, like, I am running around like crazy. I am lifting things. There's just no way. So for me, doing the surgery in December was like fantastic because I don't have that many weddings. I don't choose to work that many weddings at that point in the year. So that's kind of my time off. So, you know, taking the time off is going to be crucial. Make sure that you have enough vacation saved to be able to have the recovery that you need. And know that you're going to have to ease back into everything. You are going to need to rest frequently. For the first couple of weeks, I just felt exhausted all the time because my body was using all of the energy that I had to try to heal itself. And that left very little energy left for things like walking up and down the stairs. I got so tired doing that, you know, loading the dishwasher, like very basic things wore me out almost instantly. It was fine once I kind of got to the 3-week mark. I really felt like I got over a hump there and was able to like function a lot better, but there are still times where I get tired, and I am almost 6 weeks post-op. I'll be 6 weeks on Wednesday. So there are still times where my body is like, F you, we're done. Go and take a nap. I rarely ever do that, but it's kind of what I feel like. So just make sure that you give yourself the time to heal and know that you can't lift anything. I mean, I'm still not carrying Stella around. Stella is she's actually like, I think 25 or 26 pounds. You can't lift anything heavier than a gallon of milk. That eliminates a lot of things. You're not supposed to be pushing around a heavy vacuum cleaner. So just kind of be prepared for not doing all of your usual tasks, whether that means, husband, partner, whoever, it needs to step it up in the house, or, hiring a cleaning lady to come in might be a worthwhile investment. I have really bad OCD. I did a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have done early on, but I was also really careful with it. I knew that once things really started to hurt, I just needed to stop. So I didn't do a lot of vacuuming. I would do some sweeping here and there, wiping the counters, loading a few light dishes into the dishwasher, but I really limited what I could do. So just know that you're going to have a lot of limits and that you're going to need a lot of rest. Patience. This is a huge thing. You need to be patient because you're not going to see the results from this surgery up until a full year after. So I'm going to consider myself completely healed next December 11th, or this coming December 11th, I guess I should say now, at my 1 year anniversary. So I can have swelling for the next 11 months, and possibly even beyond that. This is such a major surgery, and your body just goes through so much that it just takes a long time to heal. And I'm fully prepared for that. So just make sure that you are patient enough to not demand to see the results right away. Your scars are going to take a long time to start to fade and to start to really flatten out. With a breast reduction, you have to wait for them to kind of drop into their natural position again. There's, like I said, the swelling, having to wear a girdle when, you get a lot of swelling, and there's just a lot that comes along with this, and you just really have to be patient with yourself and give yourself the time that you need. It's not something that it's going to be instantaneous. Just be patient, sit back, sort of enjoy the ride, and then at a year, look at yourself and think, oh my God, I can't even imagine my former body. That's kind of the moment that I'm looking forward to. I'm having such great glimpses at it right now because my recovery is really, really going well at this point. But, I know that it's just going to be that much better in December of this year. So if you hear that scratching, that's my cat trying to get into the office. And then the last thing, I think this was probably 11 or 12 items. Sorry that I lost count. Healthy food. Healthy food makes a huge difference. I'm not the best at this. I'll gladly admit it. I'm not a good cook. My husband and I tend to eat out a lot. I eat fairly healthy food when we go out, but I'm not a chef. Terrible at that. But I do notice when I eat lots of fruits, lots of veggies, that my body just feels like it is able to heal better, if that makes sense. I have more energy. I don't get as much swelling. I just feel better. So that's kind of a big thing, don't eat a bunch of junk food. Don't eat a bunch of candy, chocolate. Focus on eating as cleanly as you can. You don't have to go overboard. I'm certainly not one of those people that's going to be eating quinoa and vegetables every single day, but I try to make sure that that is the majority of my diet. And, one of the great side effects that I've noticed is that I'm not able to eat nearly as much as I used to. I used to just eat mindlessly constantly, and from not being able to do that because it just hurts to do that, when my stomach gets really full, it sort of presses on my, the muscles where they're still kind of tender, and it just makes it uncomfortable, and so I just don't overeat anymore because it just doesn't feel good. So that has been awesome for me because I've been sort of able to retrain myself to not constantly snack or eat Stella's leftovers or anything like that. So that's just been absolutely fantastic, and I definitely encourage you just to eat as healthfully as you can. So those are really my top suggestions for those of you who are looking to have a procedure like this done. You know, this is applicable not only to like a mommy makeover necessarily, but if you're having lipo, if you're having, you know, facelift, whatever it is that you're going to be having done in terms of cosmetic procedures, like, you know, just do as much research as you can, trust your doctor, have good communication, and then just be prepared for what's going to come after. You know, it's not something you really want to wing. You kind of want to think about it because you know, this is almost week 6 for me, and I'm still, you know, like having to sort of live and adjust around the effects of having this procedure done. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful for those of you who are going to be having a cosmetic procedure done in the near future. You can always ask me whatever questions you want. I try to be very honest about everything, and I'm certainly happy to answer your questions. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.